You ever notice how a quick email or a simple project can suddenly eat up your entire day? You tell yourself, I'll get this done before lunch, and before you know it, the sun's going down and you're still tweaking the font in your PowerPoint or rewording that same message for the fifth time. Well, there's actually a name for this, and it's called Parkinson's Law. So Parkinson's Law is a really simple but powerful idea. It was coined by a British historian, Cyril Northcote Parkinson, way back in 1955. He said, "Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion." Think about that for a second. If you give yourself all day to write a 3-sentence email, it'll take all day. But if you only have 10 minutes, boom, you're done in 5. Let me give you a classic example. Parkinson actually describes a scenario in his famous essay. There's an elderly lady, and her only task for the day is to send a postcard. She spends an hour finding the postcard, another hour looking for her glasses, 90 minutes writing it, and so on, until the entire day is somehow consumed by this insanely simple thing. We laugh, but let's be real, we've all done something like that. So the question is, why do we do this? Partly it's just how our brains work. When you have a lot of time, there's no sense of urgency, so you stretch things out, get distracted, complicate simple stuff, and sometimes even add more tasks to make the job seem meaty enough for the deadline. And here's an even weirder part. Sometimes, the more people you add to a project, thinking it will get done faster, the longer and more complicated everything becomes. Parkinson noticed this with big government bureaucracies. The number of employees always seemed to grow, even if the actual amount of work didn't. It's not just you. Companies, governments, even entire industries fall into this trap. For myself personally, I see Parkinson's Law in action every time I tackle a project. If I tell myself I need to finish editing a YouTube video this week, guess what? I'll work on it, fiddle with the script, delete and re-add footage, and it'll probably only get finished right at the end of the week. But here's a personal hack that's worked for me before. I try to limit the time I give myself, on purpose. I'll say, okay, I've got 2 hours to finish this section, no exceptions. Weirdly, I almost always get it done way faster when I put a hard stop on it. That pressure pushes me to focus and cut out the fluff. And then I've got time left over to actually relax or get ahead on something else. If right now you're thinking of your own busy work stories, let me know in the comments. Okay, so what can you actually do? Here's a few practical tricks that might be able to help. The first thing is to set shorter deadlines. Don't give yourself a week for something you could finish in a day. Try squeezing that task into a morning or even an hour. You can also time block. Actually schedule a set amount of time and force yourself to stick to it. Use a timer if you have to. I've found it's also helpful to break big projects into smaller chunks. Give each chunk its own mini deadline, even if it's just 10 minutes. That stops work from ballooning out of control. Another trick is to challenge yourself. Try and gamify the process. If I can finish this task in 30 minutes, I get a bonus coffee. Make it fun. And then finally, accountability. Tell a friend, I'm getting this done by noon. It's amazing how a little outside pressure keeps you on track. And the best part of all of this is that you get more done. You end up freeing your mental energy for things that matter. Now here's something unusual. A lot of people don't know about this. But Parkinson didn't just talk about time. His ideas spun off into a bunch of other laws. For instance, the law of triviality says that organizations tend to give too much time and energy to trivial issues. Like you might breeze through $1 million budget, but spend an hour debating what kind of coffee to serve in meetings. Or the law of delay, which says that the fear of making a decision causes endless postponement. So tasks get dragged out not just by time, but by hesitation and overthinking. And here's another interesting perspective. His wife even joked about a Mrs. Parkinson's Law, that the emotional warmth created by household chores grows until it overwhelms you, unless you pass it on to someone else. Not exactly scientific, but kind of relatable if you ever stuck doing dishes all night. Alright, so what's the big takeaway? If you want more time, don't look for it, create it by limiting the time you spend on each task. Shrink your deadlines, focus your efforts, and whenever you catch yourself stretching out a simple job, remind yourself, just because you can take all day doesn't mean you should. Try it today. Pick one thing on your to-do list, set a timer for half the time you'd usually allocate, and see what happens. I bet you'll surprise yourself. And if this helps you, or if you've got your own twist on beating the clock, share it down in the comments, or pass this video on to a friend who's always so busy but never gets anything done. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next productivity hack. I'll see you in the next video.